Kasi pagka ganito po may absolute values, just positive or negative. Wala naman. Oh, wait. Squared ba po 'to or cube?
Yeah.
Square.
Hindi.
Dapat cube, no?
I think,
Sir, to letter A po.
Square. Cube pala yung una.
Cube.
2x cube plus 11x square minus 7x minus 6. So mga cubic functions. Tapos sketch the graph. Teka, yung sketch the graph mo yung sa A. So paano ano yung technique for dealing with how do you graph cubic functions?
cubic function.
Naalala mo yung trick for pag graphing absolute value functions na i-reflect mo?
Mirror nyo
So that means, so you only need to consider one of the two.
Huwag ka lang po ng positive. Para siyang ganito. Tapos yung gagawin kong ganito. So ito.
Oo. Tapos kailangan mo i-check kung may ilang crossings ang gagawin niya sa x-axis.
So kung ganito po lang or parang ganito.
Oo, pwedeng magganyan eh. Or pwedeng walang isang crossing lang, di ba? Pero may kink.
Parang ganito.
Tapos may derivative tests. So hanapin mo na rin pati yung mga local maxima at minima. So, gamitin natin yung table function. (2x cubed plus 11x squared minus 7x minus 6. Tapos, graph natin, evaluate natin from -1/2 to 6.
So, pag ganito po na.
Kaya, check ko lang yun. Check lang natin yung zeros. So, -1/2 is a 0. 1 is a 0. Wait, 1 is a 0, right? Hindi negative. So, bakit 2x plus, okay, may x minus 1. Tapos, x plus 6. Teka.
Ha?
Teka, negative 6. Okay, so negative 6 is a 0. Negative 1/2. Nag-table of signs ka?
Okay. Para malaman pa rin ito.
So, table of signs para ma-determine natin kung ano yung kung positive or negative. And then, yung maximum minima.
Table of signs.
Ano ito? Maximum minima na lang. I think baka mas maximum minimum muna. Or local maximum, local minimum. So, consider 2x. So, 2x cubed. So, first derivative, use the first derivative test. So 2x cubed plus 11x squared minus 6. Yung zeros ay negative 6, negative 1/2, and 1. So, first derivative is 6x squared plus 22x minus 7. And then 6, 22, negative 7. So, critical points. So, point. Negative 1.83. And negative 1.83. Tama. Teka, bakit 3.96 yung isa? 6x squared plus 22x minus 7. 6x squared plus 22x minus 7. Yung zeros niya ay 0.29, negative 3.96. Yung ano yan sa first, yung critical points, yung zeros ng derivative. Ayun, 3.96. Okay. 0.295 and 3.96. Okay. Ngayon, table of signs. Kasi pag alam mo na yung table of signs, masasabi mo na rin kung pwede mo rin ma-figure out kung maximum minimum eh. Dahil alam natin yung general shape ng cubic.
Okay. So, nasan siya? Negative 3.8.
So, 2x plus 1, x minus x plus 6, x minus 1. And then,
It doesn't make sense. So, para siyang dito. At isang dito. So, parang mga ganyan. Okay. Tama pala ako kanina. Parang ganun.
So 0.295 is going to be somewhere.
Okay. Ano ka na po itsura niya? Para siyang ganito. Symmetrical pa rin sila pero parang mas mataas siya ng konti.
Tapos ang ano na lang kung ano yung values ng local maximum at saka local minimum, kailangan mo evaluate. Kung gusto mo ng mas accurate na graph. Pero sketch lang naman
1 equals.
Okay, tapos yung function natin is x cubed plus x. So x minus 6. So, minus 6. Masyadong malaki yung isa, di ba?
Strange. So parang ganito siya. Ito.
Teka, saan siya nagsi-zero?
Dito mo.
Teka, table of signs?
Okay. Baka yun yung missing part.
So yung factored form, so sulat lang yung factored forms.
Factored form.
So x minus 1, 2x plus 1. And x minus x plus 6. And then yung mga zeros would be at negative 6. Teka, negative 6, di ba? And then negative So negative 1/2 yung isa. And 1. Okay. Ngayon yung signs. Mhm. Okay.
Okay. Ah?
Yep.
Okay.
So dapat negative siya for less than negative 6. So packet yan. Tapos dadaan sa 0.
Bakit negative post yung y?
Hindi, sige. Iyan mo muna yun. Yung information na yun. So from negative going to 0. And then aakyat. And then the only way na babalik sa 0 yan ay kailangan bumaba somewhere. Diba? Tapos magne-negative uli. And then aakyat. Okay, ngayon, tingnan mo yung yung pag 0.296, di ba negative number yung lalabas. Yun yung 0. Sorry, yun yung local minimum.
Opo. Uh-huh. And then I don't know. What
Yung
happened?
Okay, so tingnan mo yung the first derivative is 0 when it's 0.295. So that means yan yung local minimum. May isang local minimum ka dyan. Which
So,
does show up, right? 0.295.
dito nga po. Pero I fit it to
Sige na, 0.295. That's positive. Nasaan ba yung 0?
Dito po.
Yan. So may local minimum ka dyan, which comes out, di ba? Ngayon, yung isa, between negative 6 and negative 1/2, meron kang local maximum, which occurs at negative 3.96. So ano yung corresponding value ng y dyan? Medyo mataas yun eh. Actually,
Mga
so
70 po.
around 70, di ba? So that happens when x is negative 3.9. Magkano mo yung scale? X equals negative 3.96. Nasaan?
3.96.
Negative 3.96. So x-axis.
Ito po.
Nandyan. So just mark it out. Na with a value, negative 3.96. Tapos, yung zeros, i-label mo rin. Negative 6, negative 1, half, and 1. Tapos yan, nasa negative 0.295.
Positive po.
So, reasonable. So, yung kaya importante yung second derivative, yung first derivative test eh. Kasi it tells you then na saan nag-zero yung tangent. Tapos, knowing the signs, at least knowing the cubic, na yung cubic generally ganyan yung shape. Kaya mo i-figure out na kung ano yung shape, ma-approximate na yung shape. Okay? So, ngayon, that's for yung walang absolute value. Paano yung absolute value na? So, pakiburay yung mga, lagyan mo ng, gawin mong dotted lines yung nag-negative. Ngayon, okay na yan. Hindi mo na kailangang linisin pa yung shape niya. Kasi, remember, we're doing a sketch. It's not worth the effort. So, burahin mo yung yung para mag-negatives para yung mga negative dotted lines. So, kahit bura na lang. Okay. And leave yung dotted graph. Kasi gusto lang natin makuha yung Okay, ngayon, yung other part na nagne-negative, yung negative 1/2 to 1. So, gawin mo lang na dotted yung nasa ilalim. Gumamit ka na ng white na
white na.
and then just draw yung positive portion. Okay. So, using that, pwede mo nang, may mga cases ka na for the function. This expression will work for less than -6. this expression works from -6 to -1/2. Another expression will work from -1/2 to 1. And then another expression will work from 1 onwards. So, kasi gagamitin natin yun later sa third part na ano yung difference ng dalawang absolute value functions. Kaya kailangan mong i-case method. Okay, yung sa letter B, hindi ko napapasketch yung graph. Ang importante lang dyan yung table of signs. Hindi mo pa magagawa yung cases pag di mo alam yung table of signs. So yung y1, tingnan mo yung y1. Mali yan. Yung letter A. Kasi yung 2x cubed plus 11x squared minus 7x minus 6, when does that work? Anong intervals?
Table step lang. Ano po?
Only when it's positive, di ba? So, that works kapag between -6 to -1/2 and greater than or equal to 1. Kaya hindi siya pwedeng kaya meron kang cases na between this interval, ito yung expression. Between or these intervals, ito na may expression. Kaya siya I think kaya pag di mo pa na-encounter ito, mahirap siya. Okay, so balik tayo dun sa yung sa first, meron tayong table of signs, diba? So, that expression, yung una, so y1 is 2x cubed plus 11x squared minus 7x minus 6. That only works for the case where y1, where that function is positive. Where that function is negative, yung second expression ang kailangan mo. So, list the intervals na gagana yan.
So like, yung function po is this when may interval, tapos this when another interval.
Oo. So, meron kang the table of signs will dictate kung alin dyan yung gagana. So, yung second expression is from next less than -6. Less than. Okay. And then, kailan pa siya nagne-negative? Between -1/2 and delete it. Kasi, ano talaga eh. So, and saan pa siya yung negative? -1/2 to 1. Tapos yan naman, between -6 and -1.5. And x is greater than or equal to. Okay. Ngayon, so yung next na, so okay na yan. Yung letter B, gawan mo ng table of signs yung expression sa loob ng absolute value. So hindi ko na pagagawa yung graph. Importante lang, alam lang natin yung signs. Okay. Second expression is 3x cubed.
Excuse mo.
Plus 11x squared minus 7x. Sorry, plus 4x. Sorry. Plus 4x squared. Plus 4x squared minus 7x minus 6.
Ay,
So
49x po plus 30.
Sorry. 3, 4,
Okay.
-49, 30.
Nalilito na po sa expression.
Okay. So ano yung zeros ng expression? So paano na kapag y2 minus y? y2 minus y1. Ano yung expression ngayon? In piecewise form.
Ay, hello po.
Ah,
Ayun, naka-mute pala po ako. So, yung ano pala, all this time nagsasalta pala ako, mute pala ako po ako. So, yung subtraction po, para siyang kukunin ko po yung table of size ko na sa subtract po.
kailangan mong, at saka saan siya nag-change ng sign, bawat isa. Kasi, yung appropriate expression, na isa-subtract mo from the other, depende sa signs eh. Y2 minus Y1, no?
Negative 6, negative 1 half. One.
Okay, tuwagin mo yung nasa loob ng absolute values na P and Q. P of X, Q of X. So Y1 equals absolute value of P, Y2 equals absolute value of Q.
So, ay, inuho ko pala. Sige ko na lang ulit. Negative 5, 1 half. 2/3. Option 3. So,
Teka, yung Y1 at saka Y2, dinefine natin as the absolute value, di ba? So, bigyan mo ng pangalan yung nasa loob ng absolute value. For example, let Y1 be equal to absolute value of P of X. Y2 equals absolute value of Q of X. Paano nga ito? Teka, copy ko lang ulit. Share ko yung screen ko. Kasi malilito ka niya kapag hindi maayos yung notation. Okay, share ko yung ano. So define the following functions. So ito yung Y1, di ba? This is Y2. Ngayon, Y1, so if you define the following, let P of X be equal to 2x cubed q of x equals 3x cubed plus 4x squared minus 49x plus 30. Yung y2 minus y1, ang goal natin is to write it down as combinations of either p plus q, p minus q, negative p minus q, negative p plus q. And then, kailangan mo i-specify yung intervals. So, for example, ito. Kailan gumagana yung p plus q? When both are positive. Kailan gumagana yung p minus q? When p is positive and q is negative. Kailan negative p minus q? That's going to happen when both p and q are negative. And then, ito, di ba? Kita mo na yung ano, yung setup.
Opo.
Okay, sige. So, stop sharing muna ako. Dapat pala ginawa ko quadratic muna para makita mo yung simpler case.
Okay, baba ko na po.
Tapos mag-color code ka. Let's say yung P is red, Q is blue or green. Para hindi ka ganun para hindi ka malito. X between -6 and -5. X 3. P is Q.
Hmm.
Kaya, hindi mo kailangan yung table of signs dyan. Ang kailangan mo, kaya kami table of signs ng Y2 at saka Y1 kasi gagamitin mo siya to determine ano yung expressions na appropriate for the subtraction pag kinuha mo na yung cases. So for example, pag negative 6, di ba, y2 minus y1. Sige, gawin natin yung x less than negative 6. So, on the side, case 1, x is less than negative 6. Sa right, sa tabi ng number ng table of signs mo kasi may hirapan kang interpret yan without the table of signs. So, case 1. So, underneath so sa tabi, so case 1, x less than negative 6. Okay, di ba y2 minus y1, para na makita mo yung idea, y2 minus y1 is equal to absolute value of p minus absolute value of q pala minus absolute value of p. Teka, naka-absolute value sign yung q. Hiwalay silang absolute value. Okay, ngayon, from the table of signs, for x less than negative 6, ang q of x negative. So, that's going to be equal to negative q. So, so absolute value of q is going to be negative q. So, sa ilalim yan, equals negative q minus, ngayon, so lagyan mo yung minus and then quantity, open parenthesis, and yung p of absolute value of p of x is negative. So absolute value is negative p of x. Okay. And therefore, pag sinimplify yan, that's negative Q plus P.
Ah, so like ganun po lagi. Ganun na po yung ano na. Gan-
So may iba-iba kang
kasi parang
expressions na valid.
for all of them, po gagawin yung mga ganito parang by column.
Okay. Oo. So every time, so yung mga pairings, titingnan mo. So yung next case is negative 6 to negative 5. So magre-reduce yung absolute value of Q minus absolute value of P to 1. Hindi, sulat mo, case 2. Kasi sorry. Sige, simplify mo muna yan. Equals negative Q plus P. So, ano yung absolute value of Q? Sorry. Negative 6 to negative 5, di ba? So,
Or x equals
absolute
9.
value of Q. So, ang Q is positive from negative 6 to negative 5. So, ang absolute value of Q is just Q itself. Yung P, on the other hand, is negative. Hindi, tingnan mo yung ginawa natin sa case 1. So, pag tinanggal yung absolute value sign, ano mag-a-apply? Q or negative Q? P or negative P? It's 4. So, Q is positive. So, Q lang. Wait. Sorry. Q is... Ano ba yan? Negative pala. So, Q is negative dyan, ano? So, negative. Okay. Tapos, minus absolute value of P. Pero P is positive. Huwag mong i-skip na ganyan. Gawin mo yung step by step na parang ginawa sa case 1. So absolute value of Q becomes negative Q minus ano yung absolute value ng P? Sige.
Absolute value now.
Teka, minus Q plus P. Teka, check natin. Tama. So, negative Q minus... So, after yung negative Q, okay, absolute value of Q becomes negative Q. Tapos, sulat mo muna yung minus. Pulahin mo muna yung plus P of X. And then minus, open parenthesis. Check natin ngayon. P of X is positive between negative 6 and negative 5. So bakit absolute value of P is negative P? Between negative 6 and negative 5, P is positive. So dapat, absolute value of P is just P itself. So dapat yung nasa loob ng parenthesis, positive P. Hindi negative P.
Mm. Yun, sino po?
Yeah, so negative Q. So that's, iwan mo siya para makita mo yung, kasi pinapakita natin yung reasoning eh. And then that's equal to negative Q minus P. Okay, so next page. So ano yung next case? Negative 5 to negative 1/2. Okay, so case 3, x is between negative 5 and negative 1/2. So y2 is positive. I think gawin mo yung simula ka sa absolute value of Q minus absolute value of P. Para hindi ka malito. So write it down. Case 3.
Case
X is between negative 5 and negative 1/2. Okay, so y2 minus y1 is... Okay, ano yung absolute value of Q? So Q is positive between negative 5 and negative 1/2. So absolute value of Q becomes kaya ano yan, yung table mo, palitan mo yan, hindi siya y2. That's Q. Table siya ng Q and P, hindi siya table ng y2 at y1. Kasi sa table ng y2 at y1, lahat positive, either positive lang yan or 0. So, putahin mo yung y2 sa yung table of signs mo. Those are the signs of P and Q, not y2 and y1. So, erase mo yung y2 sa table of signs and replace it with Q. Hindi, yung table of signs. Tingnan mo yung table of signs mo. That should be Q and P. Okay, so So between -5 and -1/2, both are positive. So Q minus P lang siya. Okay, case 4. So X is between -1/2 and 2/3. So Y2 minus Y1 is okay, and then so P is negative, so that becomes Q plus P. Okay, case 5.
Abot po yata tayo sa case 2 million.
So X is between 1 and 3, no? Okay. So, yung last case, x is greater than 3, it becomes q minus p. Okay. So, ito yung next exercise. Something related. Gusto kong mag-define ka ng dalawang quadratic functions. So, yeah, share ko yung screen ko ulit. So dito, what if ikaw yung gagawa ng question? Function. So ang gusto natin, yung ganito yung properties. Define y1 to be absolute value of q na lang. So, tapos gusto ko na, so define q, a quadratic function q, q of x, and quadratic functions na lang. Quadratic functions. I think better to. Quadratic functions q and p with integer or simple fraction, simple fraction roots with integer or simple fraction zeros, and then analyze the analyze and then express in piecewise form the function y is equal to y2 minus 3y1. So ang Q and P should be quadratic functions with either integer or simple fraction zeros. Gusto ko ba na P2? Kaya mas maganda yata yung P minus, gusto ko ng P minus Q eh. So 2, yeah, y2 minus y1. Sige. So pili ka lang. Ano yung mga zeros ng Q? Ano yung mga zeros ng P? And then set up 2y2 minus 3y1.
So,
Screenshot ko to. Tapos gusto kong gawing homework ito. Kasi parang may iba tayong pag-usapan. So ito, homework. So make your own function problem siya. Tapos kailangan lang simple fraction or integer zeros yung quadratics. Okay na? So, yung next na gagawin natin, so ito, homework na yan. Kasi gusto kong ipakita mo in detail yung solution. So, you have to choose two functions. So yung idea dito, what if gagawa ka ng exam question na ganyan? Tapos pakita mo din yung solution. Okay, so balik tayo sa gusto ko lang so balik tayo dun sa for our last 25 minutes. Balik tayo sa physics. Ano ba yung huli natin ginawa doon? Sa resting Haldane Walker. And then, okay. So, stop sharing na ako. Tapos balik tayo sa problem solving from resting.
Kakabotong salami yung last ba? Or something.
Sige. So let's go to the next one.
Ano mo?
Yeah, number 17. Saan ko lang yung book. So we're doing number 17. So, meron tayong tension. Meron tayong tapos meron tayong okay. Pag sinabing normal force acting on the block, ano yung gumagawa ng force na yon? That's a normal force from what?
Normal force.
Pag
From
sabi,
gravity.
ano yan?
Gravity mo.
Hindi. Ano yung
Okay.
sabihin ng normal?
Perpendicular.
Perpendicular. So perpendicular to what?
To the ground.
Okay, to the ground. So yung ground dito, yung frictionless na plane.
Abo.
So yung normal force is produced by what?
Force.
Kasi aning ka third law, so aning ka, that's a force produced by interaction between the mass and
Good question. I think friction or gravity ba?
ito, what's yung friction? Friction is a force from the surface preventing sliding.
So against friction.
So walang friction dito. Kasi
Walang friction.
sinabi, no forces preventing sliding eh.
Mm.
Pero, so dito, yung anong surface? Yung plane na yan. Kung saan nakalapat yung mass. Friction is a force that's parallel to the plane. So it comes from the plane and it's parallel to the plane. Kung may friction, walang friction. So ano yung force na naiiwan? So the plane will be pushing the block in what direction? Kasi ito, kung walang rope, tapos may friction, ano yung forces na mag-a-act dun sa, isipin mo instead of a box, nakatayo ka sa inclined plane. Ano yung forces acting on you? Okay, so drawing ka ng ano. So ito, drawing ko yung situation. Kasi similar sila eh. So, ito yung situation, no? You're standing on a plane. Hindi ko i-exaggerate masyado yung tilt kasi pag masyadong mataas yung tilt, di ba, magugulong ka eh. Or magsa-slide ka. One of those will happen. And then you're standing on a plane. What are the forces acting on you when you're standing on the plane? Or on an incline?
Gravity.
Okay, so gravity is pulling you in what direction?
In down, perpendicular to the ground. Yes. Going down.
So going down.
Directly.
Ito kasi yung ground dito may angle. So ito gravitational force pa lang yan. Ngayon, what about the ground? Ano yung forces na ginagawa ng ground sa'yo? There's something preventing you from sliding. Diba? So, ang direction ng force should be like this para hindi ka mag-slide. Acting on you. Tapos, yung force na to is parallel to the ground. Yan lang ba yung forces?
No.
What else?
Yung ano nga
So
po,
aside
yung
from that, ano pa? So the ground is preventing you from sliding.
friction.
Hindi, yan yun eh. That's yung force from the ground preventing you from sliding
slide.
parallel to the plane. That's friction. Ito, force of gravity yung down na ganyan. Ngayon, kung yan lang yung forces, yung net force is going to be, it will follow the parallelogram rule. Ganito. Diba? So you should be accelerating in that direction. But you're not accelerating in that direction. So there must be another force acting. Tapos exaggerated yung friction eh. Dapat it's actually smaller than that. Mga ganito. So what else is acting? So the ground is preventing you from sliding. What else is the ground preventing you from doing?
Preventing you from
So preventing sliding and preventing acceleration in what direction?
acceleration. Kasi yung sliding pa is acceleration yun forward or backward eh. So,
Oo.
acceleration upward or
Ito
down.
yung forward backward, di ba? So ang
Abo.
upward downward niya pag ganito.
Support force.
So yung supporting force, that's going to be in this direction, di ba? Parang ganito.
Abo.
So force from ground acting on you, but this time, this force is perpendicular to the ground. Anong tawag na yan sa force na perpendicular to the surface?
Support force.
What else?
Normal force.
So ito yung normal force. Ito, the thing that's preventing you from sliding, that is friction. Okay, ito ba? Isa pang example para ma-illustrate yung normal force, mas extreme. Merong box. You are pushing the box in this direction. Tapos may wall. Yeah. Pangit ng wall. Gusto ko na yung wall ay perfectly vertical. So, ganyan.
Talagang yung obsessive
So, ano
compulsive.
yung forces na acting on, so what are the forces acting on the box that's preventing it from accelerating left and right or accelerating upward and downward? Try mo. Isipin mo, subukan mo, kuha ka ng isang something na pwede mong i-press against the wall and prevent that from sliding. The force you apply has to be perpendicular to the wall para sakto. So ano kaya yung mga forces acting on that eraser?
There is eraser po, this case. Ano po, yung
Okay.
gravity.
So
Tapos
may gravity. Ano ba? You are pushing that.
pushing me to case.
So
And then the
force from you to the case. Ano pa?
force from wall to case.
So ano yung direction ng force from the wall to the case?
Perpendicular from the wall po.
Okay, may isang force na perpendicular. Ano pa?
Ano pa? Case to
Okay, what's preventing the object from sliding up or down?
friction.
So friction should be,
Going upwards po.
okay, so friction is going up. Tapos, that friction is also from the wall, acting on the case, tapos parallel. Ito, binibigyan natin ng pangalan na friction. Ito, bibigyan natin ng pangalan na perpendicular or normal. That's why we call it the normal force. So, pansin mo, yung normal force is perpendicular to the gravitational force. So, wala silang direct relationship. It's always, the normal force is the force exerted by the surface perpendicular to the surface.
Opo.
Okay, ngayon, balik tayo dun sa problem para ma-identify mo yung forces ulit. So if we go back to the problem, ano yung surface uli dito? So here, ano tawag dyan sa wedge? I think tawagin lang natin a wedge. So ano kaya forces? So mg, and then okay, or tawagin nating T na tension, or equals T. Okay, so yung normal force is produced by
Produced by what?
So the normal force is a surface for is a force reduced by a surface. Which surface is it? Mark it on the diagram or on the figure. So acting on the block. So if something is pushing the block upward in that direction, what is that something?
Ito mo, yung wedge.
Yung wedge. So force from the wedge perpendicular to the surface of the wedge. Okay, so tama na yung free body diagram. Ngayon, we know na uh, at na at rest yung block na yan. So yun yung assumption dito. So it's not accelerating, so the net force must be 0. Ngayon, yung convenient na coordinate system ganito. Yung x-axis is parallel to the surface. The y-axis is perpendicular to the surface. So pakidrawing yung x and y axis on the mass sa diagram. So origin is, so nasa yung origin? Ne, dun sa diagram, dun sa may block and ano.
Origin. Saan ba? Sa kanya?
So the origin is at the mass. Ngayon, hindi convenient yung up and yung direction na yan. Sinasabi ko na. Ang convenient ay perpendicular and parallel to the surface. Okay, so yan yung y-axis. Tapos yung x-axis in the same along the rope.
And bounded na parang ayaw niya ito magpunta ng outer room. Please.
Okay na yan.
No.
Ngayon, yung upward direction is yung positive x, positive y yung. Okay, so yan yung ganyan din yung directions ng x and y axis. Ngayon, using those axes, express yung kunin mo yung components ng bawat force along x and along y. And you should be able to set up mass times acceleration along x, mass times acceleration along y. So F net along x is what? So balik ka dun sa diagram. So free body diagram. Tapos burahin mo yung z and yung axis na dinlowin mo sa diagram kasi hindi yan yun. Okay. Ngayon, something from geometry. So from geometry, nasaan mo ano yung angle na theta dyan?
Angle na theta. theta. Saan yung theta? Dito.
Mhm. Is there any other thing there na theta din yung angle?
What I think, ito siguro, proof ko lang po.
Sige.
Particular. Okay. Itutuloy ko lang po parang sample na sketch. If it's a theta, tapos yung perpendicular to, is also perpendicular. Therefore, yung remote angle theorem. So this entire angle is theta plus 90 degrees. Therefore, this is theta. Therefore, this is theta. Okay. Yun.
Okay. Pakita ko lang sa yung paano ko ginagawa yan. At least yung paano ko naalala yung angles. So let me share my screen. So, eto, this is theta. This is 90. Therefore, this is 90 minus theta. And this is also 90. So, ito, dapat, yung angle sum nila, 90 uli. So, itong dalawa. This and this should be 90. And for that to happen, dapat ito, theta din. So 90 minus theta plus theta, I get 90. I get 90. Okay?
Opo.
So, balik tayo dun sa sa figure mo. So tapusin lang natin yung setup. So pa-share uli ng sa screen mo. Okay, ngayon, ano yung tingnan mo yung normal force, ano yung, so F net, comma, lagyan mo ng X. Kasi we're looking at the X component of the net force. Okay, so here, based on your diagram, meron kang yung force from the cord on the block. So tension is going to be positive. So may plus T ka dyan. Ngayon, ang problema yung gravitational force. Ano yung component niyan along X? So remember, x is along the plane, y is perpendicular to the plane. So yung sa yung figure 5-36 i-label mo na yung anong x-axis at yung y-axis. Nandiyan naman yun, di ba? Patingin. Pwedeng ibaba mo uli yung figure para makita natin yung buo. 5-36. Yan, di ba? May x and y axis dun eh. So, we want the x component of each force and the y component of each force. So, if we start with the normal force, anong x component ng normal force?
Ito mo, mataas.
Hindi, pataas siya. Ngayon, in IJK notation, ano ba yung I component? May component ba siya along x? Tingnan mo yung x and y axis natin rotated. So, yung normal force is pointing directly along y. Does that have an x component? Sige. So, another question. Baka makatulong. Tingnan mo yung force of the cord on the block or yung tension. Ano y component niyan?